What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, filming today's show during our live show, which airs every single Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, so tune in next week if you haven't already. But let's start today's show off by looking at the latest news and rumors on your Cleveland Browns. And here's the first story I want to get to. Are the Cleveland Browns in for a big offseason? Are they going to be loud? Are they going to make some noise? Are they going to make some moves? I'm giving this two Bernie heads, right? Kind of right in the middle between fake news and four Bernie heads. I do think they're going to make some moves. I don't think they're going to put their tails between their legs and make one $9 million signing and call it a day, kind of like the Cowboys do every year. No, I do think they're going to make some moves. I don't think maybe it's going to be as big as we're all hoping it to be, because that's sort of the fun of the offseason when you come off a losing season, is spend a lot of money to get a lot of good players and get better. I don't think it's going to be quite at that level. But I do want to share this tweet from Keith Britton, which I thought was pretty interesting. And Keith said, Albert Breer on 92.3 The Fan on what to expect from the Browns this offseason. I think they could have a big swing or two in them. I think there's a lot on the line this offseason for a lot of people in that building. Could see them make a big free agency move, trade to solidify direction. So, I do think Albert Breer raises a very good point about there's something on the line for a lot of people this offseason. Now, let's get the numbers down here. The Browns' cap space currently sits negative $14 million. They are in the red by $14 million right now. That's going to change. Do not panic because you see that, right? They are going to restructure some contracts from Myles Garrett and from Deshaun Watson, most likely. They're probably going to make a cut or two here or there that will open up some cap space. If I had to project, it'll be probably about $35 million when it's done. Now, that does not mean they can go out and spend $35 million. You got to remember, they have to save some money in the bank to pay their draft class. They got to pay 7 rookies, or maybe even more if they trade for a pick or two. They've also got to keep some money in there for insurance, right? If they want to make a signing in the middle of the season because someone got hurt, they want to have some money left over. So they are probably going to spend in the neighborhood of $25 to $30 million. Now, there have been some big names tossed around as potential free agent targets. We're going to run through, in my opinion, what a projected average salary could look like. I think Daron Payne's probably going to make an average of $16 to $20 million. If they've got $35 million in the bank, they want to spend 25 of it, they could pull that off. Javon Hargrave, I think it's going to be a bit cheaper because he's 4 years older than Daron Payne. So a little bit of a discount, but still, going to be a bit costly. Yannick Ngakoue, I don't think he's going to reset the defensive end market by any stretch, but I do think he's going to get some money. Jessie Bates and Julian Love are kind of the two top safeties right now. I think Jessie Bates may reset the safety market, which is right around $20 million. We will see. Julian Love's going to be a bit cheaper. The point, though, is that the Browns, they could afford those contracts. All of them? No. One of them? Yes. And you're coming off another losing season, 2021, 2022, and if 2023 is a losing year, that is 3 straight losing seasons. Someone's going to get fired. I think that's kind of a guarantee. If the Browns have a losing season next year with Deshaun Watson in a full season, someone's getting canned. So Andrew Berry knows he is, I wouldn't say on his last leg here, but he's getting closer to it. And he's going to want to make a big move. He can't make a ton of them, but he can make one. So I think he might look to make a big push for a Daron Payne, for a Jessie Bates, for a Yannick Ngakoue. Some sort of playmaker on defense, because this defense absolutely needs it. Now, I do want to hear from you. Who is your top free agent target? Let me know in the comment section below who your number one guy is this offseason. Moving on to our second story today. Could we see a Jeudy trade? I'm going to give it one Bernie head. I've seen this tossed around on Twitter a little bit. I don't think it has a whole lot of weight to it, but we'll bring it up here. Because there has been a decent amount of buzz about trading for Jeudy, and that could be the final piece of the puzzle for the Browns on offense. And the Browns do need another wide receiver. Anthony Schwartz is surely not taking over that slot position. Are the Broncos really in a position where they want to reset and start trading away some of their best players? they're kind of in no man's land, but I don't think they're going to want to trade away Jerry Jeudy. Now, I'll expand on this in just a moment, but first, I got to tell you all about today's sponsor, which is Magic Spoon, the revolutionary cereal that's changing the game. Say goodbye to sugary, processed cereals, and hello to delicious, nutritious options that will power you throughout your day. Magic Spoon is the perfect choice for anyone looking to start the new year off on the right foot. With a variety of flavors to choose from like cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter, you'll never get bored. And with only 140 calories per serving, it's a guilt-free breakfast option. But the best part, Magic Spoon is packed with 13 to 14 grams of protein and 0 grams of sugar, making it the perfect choice for those following a keto or maybe even a gluten-free diet. And with 100% happiness guaranteed, you have nothing to lose by giving it a try. Order your own personalized Magic Spoon variety pack today and save $5 by using code CHAT at magicspoon.com/chat or by scanning the QR code on screen. Trust us, you won't regret it. Start your day off right with Magic Spoon. So, with that being said, that link is in the comments and the description of today's show. But let's talk a little bit about Jerry Jeudy, the Broncos wide receiver who went off for nearly 1,000 yards in a horrendous offense in Denver and had 6 touchdowns. So, I think when you look at the numbers, you go, yeah, why wouldn't you want to add that guy to your team, right? But let's go back in time a little bit. Let's rewind, shall we? Remember the NFL trade deadline? Jerry Jeudy, if you recall, was a hot name on the market. Might have been moved to the Packers, the Bears, the Cowboys. The Packers were very close, reportedly, to getting a deal done. And it sounded like Denver wanted a second rounder and another pick. Now, I don't know what that other pick was, but whatever it was, that was too rich for Green Bay. If Jerry Jeudy was going for a second rounder and another pick in October before the trade deadline, he's going to be going for a lot more now because he ended the year way better than he started the year. He had those 6 touchdowns you saw. Over half of them came after the trade deadline. He took off after the trade deadline. That was a player that Broncos fans were wondering, was that a bad first-round pick? He ended the year looking like the best player on the team, to be honest with you. So if there's going to be a trade, if Denver really is desperate to try and get some draft capital back and, reset from the awful Russell Wilson deal, I think it'll cost a second and a third. And that might not even be enough. The fact that Denver turned down whatever Green Bay had to offer beforehand, and his value, his stock, has only risen since then, I don't think it's worth the trade. I think Cleveland is not a Jerry Jeudy away from going to the next level. And personally, I'd like to see them hold on to that second and third round pick because, yes, the Browns are in a win-now window, but also they're not playing with a 35-year-old quarterback. They've got Deshaun Watson for a while. You don't have to mortgage everything for just this one season. Because Jerry Jeudy is going to get his 5th-year option probably picked up 2 more years. You want to be in line to pay him next? Probably not with the other contracts Cleveland has given out. Now, here at the channel, we are growing like crazy. And if we reach 17,000 subscribers, we're going to do a Dirty Dog Bowl. If you're not familiar with that is, I've got my dog bowl here. Every single game day during our watch parties, I drink out of this bad boy. Plus during our live shows on Thursday. And what a Dirty Dog Bowl is pour some beer, a shot of Fireball, and Cannonball coming down the hatch it goes. If you want to see that, all it costs is a free subscription by hitting that subscribe button. Moving on to our third segment of the show. Myles Garrett. Did he get hosed? Did he get screwed over? I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads. I originally had 4 Bernie heads, but I'm a coward and I took one of them off. Because Myles Garrett was not included for Defensive Player of the Year, which sounds outrageous when you say it out loud. But when you look at the 3 candidates, I don't think it's all that egregious. Nick Bosa should absolutely be on there. Micah Parsons, I think should be on there. Chris Jones was a one-man wrecking ball for the Chiefs this year. You could really make an argument for all 3 of those guys. But I'm going to be a homer and say still 3 Bernie heads. When you compare the 4 guys' stats across the board, Myles Garrett has some taken over in sacks. But the pressures, I think, are an underappreciated, undervalued statistic to use to measure a pass rusher. And those three other guys did not face the double teams and the chip rates and all that like Myles Garrett did. I mean, the tackles for loss, they all look very similar. What's not similar is the double team rate that Myles Garrett faced compared to everyone else. Because Nick Bosa, he had a Javon Kinlaw. He had an Arik Armstead. Micah Parsons, he had a Tank Lawrence. Chris Jones had plenty of other contributors. Myles Garrett had no one. Let's be honest. Nick is a great Twitter follower if you're looking for Browns content. And I think he said it best. Myles Garrett had 16 sacks in 2022. The rest of the Cleveland Browns had 18 sacks combined. There's 11 starters. One of them nearly had just as much as the other 10 starters did. Get this man some help. So statistically, I can see why Garrett was excluded, right? But at the same time, in terms of impact on the team, Myles Garrett was on an island for much of the season, and he put up numbers just like the rest of them. So when we think of Defensive Player of the Year, I wonder, what would Bosa and Chris Jones and Micah Parsons do on the Browns defense? Still be great. Still put up phenomenal numbers. But what Myles Garrett did on this defense this year, and having a very serious car accident in the middle of the year and not really skipping much of a beat, I think that should be factored in a little bit of like, you know what? He may not have as many sacks as Nick Bosa did, but he was still a very dominant force, and he was working all by himself on this defensive line. So let's end the show on a high note. Type 95 if you think Myles Garrett is one of the best. Light up the comment section with 95,000 95s. That way Myles Garrett knows the dog pound has his back.